We are finally here. Bound for Glory. The culmination of an entire year of TNA and everything they produced, along with working with WWE. I want to say this to you. I'm going to say this clearly. Was this show good? Yes. Did it also piss you off? Yes. But did they do a great job at it? Yes. So we got some stuff that was good, some stuff that was great, stuff that would piss you off because they didn't want to do the job they should have done. But in the end, when you look at the entire thing, the entire scope of Bound for Glory, I can say this as someone who's been watching this for 15 straight years, who's reviewed it for what? Now 13 years. I will say they did a good job. I did not like all of it. Some things I just didn't think made a lot of sense. But I'm not going to shit on it because in actuality, when you look at the scope of what's been going on in the wrestling world for the biggest companies, the three big ones, TNA, AEW, and WWE. When you look at how they booked, how they treated their wrestlers, how they treated their fans, I will say this. TNA isn't the greatest company. It's not. TNA is not the most wealthiest company. Hell no, it's not. But can I say that they have produced something that has generally made the fans happy? Yes. Has generally respected the fans? Yes. Can they still screw up? Hell yes, they can. I am still worried about things that's going on, particularly how they're going to act when they start getting new TV deals and trying to expand again, and they are owned by a corporation. Ergo, what's going on with WWE and Silver Lake, where it's more corporate than it is pro wrestling at this point. You can notice it, even if you don't want to hear it. I'm going to say at this point, the product is good enough that it's not perfect, but you can enjoy it, at least to the extent that you're willing to enjoy it. So, first thing I'm going to talk about is the Hall of Fame, because that's the last thing I looked at. Before I turned this camera on, I watched the Hall of Fame. I didn't do it in the beginning because I knew there was going to be stuff I might forget. So, I decided I was going to do the Hall of Fame last. Instead of watching it first at 6 to 7 o'clock in New York, I chose to watch it last after I watched all of Bound for Glory and then watched the Hall of Fame. I did not watch the match afterward. Didn't do it. That's not what I cared about the kickoff show for the match there. So I did not watch it. But I chose to watch the Hall of Fame to see how the beautiful people were going to react, who was going to be there, and generally how Mickie James was going to be acting. Now, here's where it's going to be a question of, did I really like it? When you looked at the beautiful people compared to Mickie James, Mickie felt more organic compared to Angelina Love and Velvet Sky. It was just obvious. Because she wasn't going by anything she wrote down, she was just going from the heart. Compared to Angelina Love, she had a script, she had a speech written down, and when you saw Velvet, she was so intent on really doing everything she could to get everything she had written down spoken. Because at least with Angelina, it was a little less formulaic, not formulaic, but how can I say this? It was more like she was trying to read it, but show more emotion, where Velvet felt like the only thing she had to do was just do every bullet point and read exactly what's on the paper. That is what it was going to come across to many people. Did I agree with that? I understood why. I don't think Angelina and Velvet are the type of people who express themselves very well when it comes to something like this. And let's make it very clear, even though they can follow a script, which they did in TNA, not everyone is able to relay what they feel like in that type of setting, because there were over 7,000 people, almost 8 8K in that arena. At one point, what was it? They said it was nearing 8K. It was 7,794 people that was in that arena. That was the biggest number they've ever had in a long time. And I don't think Angelina and Velvet were very great on relaying what they wanted to say and not forget something. So them writing down their speeches is no different than anybody else. But the way they looked while they were doing the speeches, a lot of people are going to critique it because they're going to think that Velvet literally just wanted to go like this, be like that, and she really wasn't caring about it. She was. Velvet was caring about it. But as someone who is reviewing this, I have to bring this up, not because I have an attitude against Velvet or Angelina. It's just what people are going to perceive when they watch YouTube and see that Hall of Fame. Now, it was funny to see that they put a paper bag on Tommy Dreamer's head. That was funny. Saying, Tommy, we got something for you. We got a gift. And he thought, oh, am I going to get a kiss on the cheek and get a kiss like this? No, they put a paper bag on his head. That isn't something that you wouldn't see from the beautiful people. That's what you get. But as they talked, did I believe that what they wrote down in their speeches meant something? Yes. Angelina made it very clear how she felt and who was important to her. Now, of course, we didn't get Davy Richards mentioned in that speech. The man who is the father of her current son, who is fully grown up. Well, not fully grown up, but he's like, 9 or 10 or 11 years old at this point. She didn't mention him in the speech, which is understandable. I mean, they don't probably hate one another. They're no longer married to get a divorce, and she's with someone else who kind of looks like Stax from NXT. He's not Stax, but he kind of looks like him. But I can understand why she did not mention Davy Richards. She didn't feel probably comfortable doing it because maybe they're not really on very great terms, but maybe they still respect each other enough. But that was her speech. If you guys believe that she should have said something about Davy Richards, her previous husband, she has the right to say anything she wants. Now, Velvet is a little bit different. Velvet was never married to Bully Ray, but they were in a long-term relationship. They were together for a very long time. And it has already been stated that they still care about each other. They still love each other as friends. They didn't break up in anything that was cold and heartless. They still love each other. But I was kind of surprised she didn't mention Bully Ray. Because they're still friends. They were in the back together. Bully Ray had his match. And I would have thought before the match happened that she would mention him. Because he was there around that time. They had a relationship. He was instrumental in some form or fashion in her development. Particularly when it came to Aces and Eights. And even though she wasn't there much, doesn't mean that he didn't talk with her, didn't learn anything from him. So I was kind of surprised she did not mention him. Unless I missed it, which I don't think I did. But like I said with Angelina, it's her prerogative. It's her speech. She is now a Hall of Famer. And overall, did I believe that they deserve to go in? Yeah. The beautiful people are a mainstay of TNA before it went to Impact Wrestling. And even a little bit after that. They earned it. Whether you like it or not. Now, Mickie James. Whew, that lady. When you saw Tara shows up. And you see how emotional. And if you have not seen an interview from Tara, the former Victoria, she's a very emotional person. Doesn't mean she can't be straight and can't be calm. But she's the type of person that she expresses herself very strongly. And I can tell you one thing. She literally showed how much she really loved Mickie James. And kind of was a little bit of a knock against Velvet Sky and Angelina Love because she went to her shirt, pulled out her speech. She said, you know what? Something like this. If you're not willing to start speaking, it's not really, this is a little, pretty much what I said, a little bit cold. And Fuda, the speech she had wrote, she threw the sucker away. took off her shoes, threw them into the fans, saying, go and sell them on eBay. And she spoke from the heart. How much she loves and admires Mickie James. That her life changed because of her being in her life, which is great. I do appreciate that. And I did see a podcast that she did with Mickie James and a couple other people. And you could tell from the podcast she does, when it was with Mickie James, that she really, really loves this woman. She sees her not just as a friend. She sees her more like her soulmate friend. She's connected to the hip to Mickie James. She cannot live without that woman. That's how much she loves her. Then Mickie James came out, looking, woo, damn boy, she looked good. Sorry, my leg is itchy. But she looked great. And the way she spoke, I've seen a lot of Hall of Fames for women. And there are two that sticks out to me that she compares to. The first one would be Trish Stratus and how she spoke and how she expressed herself when she was so grateful for what she had gotten. The second one would be, shockingly, Stephanie McMahon. She grew up in the business, but she learned and appreciated and adored the business. That's why she's still a part of it. And I can say, between those two, Mickie James easily is one of the best that I've seen doing a Hall of Fame and talking and expressing herself. She told her information. She told her life and everything and her real name and how much she loves her family, how much she loves her friends, how much she loved her son, how much she loved her husband, Nick Aldis, who is currently abroad right now in Perth, I believe. He's in Perth right now. He'll probably do a SmackDown. He already did a SmackDown in Perth. So soon he'll be coming back. And she made it very clear, I love you, baby. I can't wait to see you. You have been my rock. I love you to death. That is her man. That is her everything. So I felt between those three women, she had the second best. Steph was number one. Not because she was part of making WWE the way it is, but how she expressed herself and how she felt about the business in general. Mickey's number two. And then Trish Stratus would be number three for me personally. Those are the best I've seen when it comes to Hall of Fames. And understand, there have been a lot of Hall of Fames, particularly men's Hall of Fames. I believe when it came to Taker, I loved his Hall of Fame. When it came to, how can I say this? When you looked at, I really loved when it came to the American Dreams, it hurts that Dusty Rhodes passed away. And I really loved his Hall of Fame ceremony. I really did. I felt he had the best Hall of Fame for me personally. But the ones, if you compare all of them, the two that I love the most would be Dusty Rhodes and I think Mickie James for me personally, as a woman. For the best for the women, it would be Mickie James. Maybe it's due to the fact I always loved Mickie James. I thought she's that good. And the thing that sticks in my mind, which was mentioned by Tara about their steel cage match in 2011, that to me, I don't care what anyone says. They can talk about takeover matches with Bayley and Sasha. I don't give two damn flips. There's only one match. Only one I feel is one of the epitome of the best pro wrestling you could have for women would be Mickie James and Tara in the steel cage in 2011. That is the best match I've ever seen for women. Not because it was in steel cage, because you had two great women who had good stories and good characters, and it just all fit together perfectly. And that's how I feel about it. And this Hall of Fame was good. Now, that's 15 minutes. This is going to be a long-ass video, guys. If you think this ain't going to be long, it's going to be long. That's 15 minutes just hit, and now we're going for Bound for Glory itself. Here we go. The first match we had, which was understandable, it wasn't a high-profile match, but it was for a title. The International Championship, you got Macklin versus Kaz. Kaz at the current time is champion. And Macklin's trying to get his title back because he got cheated. This kind of was a problem for me in the sense that I wish I had better development. I wish I had more development. But it was a last time. It's like within about a month or so, within a couple of weeks, that's what we get right here. And I feel like just wanted to rush it so they would have some type of conflict. And they did position it right because it is the International Championship. It's the lowest tier on the card because you got the World Champion, the X Division Champion, and then you got the International Championship. That's where it belongs. That's where the X Division used to be. That's where the International Championship should be. It should not be the mid-card. That is the X Division title. This is where it needs to be. This is the lower tier title that has been very well kept. And Steve has done a great job with it. And ain't nothing wrong with having a lowest tier title if you make it mean something. And he has. Now that Kaz had it, and then we had this match, which was a good match, Macklin got it back. But like I said, it felt like it was rushed. It felt like it needed more content. But it doesn't mean the match was bad. It just feels like they needed a match to open the show. And they knew when they booked it that they needed a match to go there. Let the International Championship fit in that slot. That's what it was there for. Next match, and I know people were not looking forward to this. Tessa versus Gia. No stakes, just aggression. I want to make this clear. I want to say this again. Not many people understand. When Tessa came back, she had a lot to prove because of every accusation Tessa had against her. And I said this myself. I don't know if they're true. As far as I can tell, they probably are not. But it's not the point. The point is that a lot of people believed it. And due to the fact that we didn't know if it was true or not, and Tessa never apologized. And I said this myself. Victoria Crawford, when she came back, if she was racist or prejudiced, do you freaking think Victoria would actually work with her? She wouldn't. And when you look at when those two work together, they're actually enjoying being together. I think Victoria Crawford is actually Tessa's real life friend. I haven't checked to see if they are, but as far as I know, the way they're acting, I believe they are. Real, honest to goodness friends. And it shows. And when you see Tessa, since she came back, she had a lot to prove. That she can work with others and not be selfish. In this situation, she needed to be booked correctly. And I felt, in the beginning of booking, was not done correctly. That if they're going to try and make her mean something, she had to go through the entire roster, no matter if it's a man. Well, technically, if they were going to go there. It had to be all the women, all the knockouts, and she had to go through the heels and faces, all of them. But she didn't. It was very few people she went up against, and then I was not fond of it until they dropped her down, started working with battery died. But how she worked in the terms of what they gave her, working with Victoria, slowly been building up into the card. Hell, now that she's working with Gia Miller, it shows that she's willing to work with other women. And also, this gave Gia a moment, a chance to do something that I think she's always wanted. And they're going to say, dude, why Gia Miller? Why not? She has been a loyal member of TNA. We know the woman can wrestle because she worked in Throwback Thursdays. What was it? Throwback Showdown Thursdays. When they used to do that IW, what was it? The Pro Wrestling, I forgot what the name of it is. I'm sure someone's going to remind me of what Scott D'Amore had set up, like an old school version of WWF, but it was to prevent the International Wrestling Provincial Federation. I think that's the name of it. And he set it up, and she wrestled with Ace Austin, being his girlfriend. I felt that seeing this was not going to be a bad thing. And maybe this might be something she really wanted to do. And Tessa, who actually has some history with her, probably signed off on it with no problem. And it wasn't a bad situation. Was it sloppy? Yes, let's make it very clear. I'm not saying Gia is a bad wrestler. If she's still been wrestling on and off when she's not doing backstage segments, it still looked a little sloppy when it came to her. Now, also, Tessa was a little sloppy a couple of times, but Gia was more sloppier. But still, it looked good. Gia, damn, she's a sexy woman. I don't give a damn if no one don't like Gia Miller. She's beautiful. Maybe it's because I want her as mine. Be mine, be mine. I hope you would deal with me. Be mine, woman. But she didn't do that bad of a job. In the end, of course, Tessa was going to win. There was no way she was going to be beaten by Gia, but it's not the point of being beaten by Gia. It's the point to show that she can work with others. It's what people don't understand. Tessa still has contractors who just doesn't believe in her. And this was a good sign to show that she can do anything. She's not against working angles that look silly, stupid, or just below her. That's a good thing. Now, if they start progressing up the card, there's no problem with that either because of what she just did here. She was willing to take bumps for Gia. She was willing to work with Gia. She made it look good when it needed to look good, and when it needed to be dominant, she could put it on. And that is what we needed to see from Tessa, or at least me. Tessa had to prove, hey, I'm here. I can prove that I can work with others. That's what she did. Next, the Call Your Shot Gauntlet match. We had 20 competitors. The first one was Li Yang Li and the Mara Shade. Those were the first two women to start the match. Now, both Nimitz brothers came in, and eventually they both were eliminated. Who eliminated both the women? I believe it was AJ Francis, who came in at number 7. He eliminated both Ling Ling Li and Mara Shade. But I will say they lasted up to number 7. I'm sure not everybody was fond of seeing both of them get eliminated, but they were going to be eliminated. Admittedly, for me, I thought they may do something special with Ling Ling Li. I thought maybe, just maybe, I said this myself, maybe she was going to get the opportunity to go through the gauntlet and reach near the end, but then get eliminated. Kind of similar to what they do in Royal Rumble. At least show that she can hang with them. It doesn't matter if it's men or women, just to hang with the guys at least long enough that she can prove that they can invest in her in the company. But they didn't do it. They only let her stay up to 7. Then we get someone named BDE. I believe that's his name. He's supposed to be a wrestling YouTuber. And he's been working in, where was he working? Wrestling Revolver? I've never seen him before. I have no thoughts on him. But he was included and he got his ass eliminated pretty quickly. The 10th competitor was 3 people. And that's the Rascals. All 3 of them were included in the Call Your Shot Gauntlet at the same time in one match. And supposedly, after a little bit of from Santina Morella in the treehouse, that sounded and felt so weird. I've never smoked in my life. Ugh. I can't even stand the smell of cigarettes, and thinking I just did that action makes me feel weird. But the point is, the Rascals were all together as one competitor. They were all going in at the same time. Now, the one that I felt that was going to be interesting was Eric Young. I thought because of what has been going on with Eric that he would have some interest. And he did eliminate 3 people. AJ Francis eliminated 3 people. How many people eliminated 3? AJ Francis eliminated 3. And Eric Young eliminated 3. So it wasn't that bad to see him go that far. So they still have some investment in him. But as we went through everyone, Rosemary showing up, the hometown man getting shown up, seeing that Nunzio's boy, what is it, Co-chair or Copeland? No. What is the guy's name? Carlson. I think Carson. Maybe Carlson. He's now the new member of the Full-Blooded Italians. Full-Blooded Italians. I'm not sure if he's going to be seen again in TNA, but he did show up months ago with Nunzio. And now the question is, will he be seen again? He didn't do that bad. But in the end, we got the last one as Warner, and that's when everything started getting smoothed out. And the last people we had after Warner was eliminated was Nick, Ryan, Matt Cardona, and the one we didn't think was still in the match was Kaz. He didn't get eliminated. He just went outside and hit himself. Also, Kaz, this is where it gets interesting. Kaz was not supposed to be in a match. It was supposed to originally be number 17, Jody Threat. But Kazarian nails her, and she can't participate. And Santino's saying to him, why the hell did you just do that? I said, put me in a damn match. I'm the king of TNA. Put me in a damn match. I'm going like, wait. He's going to just be put into the match. He's just going to let him. And then number 18 is Santino Marella himself. Puts on the Cobra, nails him, and he doesn't throw him over the top turn rope. No. He gets nailed in between the two ropes, falls after getting the Cobra, and then we get the funny moment of the night where we get Santino Marella, who is in the match officially, basically gets into the ring, stands there, he says yes, and then gets nailed by Nick Nimitz, thrown outside, and I think he might have broken his own record. If you guys remember, when Santino went to that Royal Rumble that time, power walks up there, jumps into the ring, gets nailed, and then power walks his ass back. That was one of the more funnier things that's happened in Royal Rumble. And now we get Santino Marella doing it in the Call Your Shot gauntlet. Gets into the ring, goes, I'm in, I'm out. That's what you get. In the end, we had only two people left. Kaz and Nick Nimitz. As you know in the Call Your Shot gauntlet, everyone who's eliminated, the last two have to do an actual match. They have a match. But they both basically... Here's the thing. This is where I'm like, really? You're going to do this? You're going down this route. You're actually going down this route because you're hedging your bets. Because this is what it came down to. The first ref gets nailed. Another ref comes in. And if you guys remember when you saw Beer Money versus... which episode, I forgot what it was. I don't know if it was either Victory Road or Slammiversary. Don't remember the year. But you had the Motor City Machine Guns and Beer Money. And at one point, there were two refs in the ring. And they both got pinned to the shoulders. And I believe it was Shelley and it was James Storm. And guess what happened? They had to restart the match. But here, we got that. But we didn't get a rematch. We didn't get the restart of the match. Santino was still at ringside, and he said because of the situation where both were pinned at the same time, it was a draw. Now there are two Call Your Shot Gauntlet winners. Not one, two. And everyone was like, what? And I'm like, this is why I was acting like this. I was watching the screen, I'm going, WWE, the safe option? That's what this feels like. This felt like a WWE safe option. If you saw my review of... let me give it to you like this. You see Crown Jewel. And generally it felt like a safe bet. This is what we got. Well, no, not Crown Jewel. It was NXT Showdown. I'm sorry, not Crown Jewel. Crown Jewel was actually a good show. It was a pretty good show. It wasn't an incredibly great show, but it was good. It was good. But when you look at NXT Showdown, that is a safe option that we got in that match. And not in the show, not the match. But here in this match, that's what we got. It's a safe option. You don't want to get rid of Nick. You don't want to get rid of Kaz. You want to keep them both around. So if something goes wrong, or if you want to add something from what's going on with NXT, you got two people who are now Call Your Shot gauntlets for the next year that can go after any title. And that's the safe bet. It's not one, but it's two. And that's when it came to my mind, that they took a little playbook, took a little bit of a play out of what WWE did in Showdown. Why not hedge your bets? Why not let two people win the Call Your Shot when it's never happened before, and let them both have the opportunity to go after the world title, the X Division title, the international title, the tag titles. Both of them. They can go after any title they want within this next year. And I'm like, that's a safe option. That's what WWE would do. But that's what I guess they're doing because, like again, due to NXT collaboration, maybe they want to do something where NXT would be included. And it would be a safe bet to work with it. I don't agree with it. I don't like it. But I understand why they did it. Because of their collaboration, they chose to have this option so they can have more story. Moving on. The next match, the Knockouts Championship. Indy Hartwell versus Kalani Jordan. I'm not going to tell you that this match wasn't a bit sloppy. Because it was a bit sloppy. I don't know who it was. I think it might have been Indy who's a little sloppy in this. Doesn't mean she did a bad job, but it felt sloppy. But I'm going to be honest here. Due to the fact that Kiani just got the title, I wasn't seeing her actually dropping it. Not now. It's too soon. It's just obviously too soon. And due to the fact that Marsha Slamovich is still not available because of the accusation. I know I never made a video on it. I don't know what it was. Something about not wanting to say anything yet, because it's still a big question if these accusations are going to really affect her to the point where she's released from the company. As far as I know, she's still part of TNA. But because of the accusation, because of the supposedly the crossing of both her, the guy she's with, fighting with her, and they're fighting each other, it's just something doesn't feel right. Something's missing in the equation. I feel like I need to wait. That's why I haven't said anything. But it felt like Marsha was supposed to be in the spot against Indy, not Kiani Jordan. Kiani Jordan. I just feel, that's why I'm botching. I feel like Marsha was supposed to be there, not Kiani. I'm sorry. It doesn't mean she did a bad job. She did a good job, and she retained the title. But it feels like Marsha is supposed to be the one that was supposed to do this. And it feels like Kiani was a last-minute decision. That's the reason why we got this. That's the reason why this happened. Because I truly believe, and let's make this very clear. That match that she was in, where she won that title, I'm sure Marsha was supposed to be in it, and Marsha was supposed to win it. That's just me, guys, down below. Next, Hardcore War. The System versus Order 4. Was it good? It wasn't too bad. I'm not going to tell you it was a bad match, because it wasn't. I mean, I did enjoy it. Admittedly, Skylar bleeding like a stuffed pig was kind of a surprise, seeing how much he bled. But it wasn't a bad match. Seeing that Kendra, the Alicia Edwards' own kendo stick, was shown again, you had your moment. Seeing that they were ready to destroy the entire system and having I was kind of surprised they went that far with Alicia, making sure that everyone was destroyed. They really did a lot of focus on Alicia for the system. I was actually surprised when the thumbtacks. I'm not putting any images in this video because it's so late in the night, and I chose to leave it out. Why do I have a feeling I'm going to have to put images in? At least one image. Maybe I'll put the thumbtack image of it on her body that Ali had put on her. Yeah, I think I'll do that. One video. One image, not video. I feel like I have to do more images. And maybe I might change my mind and put a few images in. But essentially speaking, seeing that she was covered in thumbtacks and Ali was about to do a 450 splash on her, she rolls out of the way, still gets tacked in her body, but he does a 450 onto tacks. That is something you don't normally see. That was nasty. But in the end, what do we get? The system winning. Eddie gets the pin on Ali. And I'm like, Ali just lost at Showdown. And he's the one who eats the pin here to Eddie. And I'm like, whoa. A double loss for Ali. That's not something I think is very wise. Unless Ali is going to be off TV for a while. And that's what I'm thinking. The reason, because he lost at Showdown and he lost here, is because maybe Ali will disappear for a little while. Yes, the system will still be around. The Order 4 will probably be around with Agent Zero, and he looked pretty good. But maybe Ali will not be there for a while because of his loss. And it's going to be Tasha that's going to be leading, Agent Zero, Hunch, and Skylar until Ali comes back again. That's a possibility, I think. But you guys, tell me below what you think. Now, the X Division Championship. The highlight reel of the night. Devon Evans versus a Leon Slater. Two guys that are very similar. There's no way you can deny it. I'm not going to deny it. Both of them are high flyers. One of them is a little better than the other, which is no lie. But one has more charisma than the other. Let's make it very clear. They both can talk now. When you look at Devon Evans, he's more confident and he can talk better. When it comes to Leon Slater, he was always able to talk. I could tell you that. But when you see the two guys and how they've been presented and what they've been allowed to do in their respective companies, there is a stark difference. Leon Slater, he has been there for a while now. He has worked with the Hardys. He worked with other people on the roster. But even though he's had 11 years in the business, he's never had any marquee matches until he's gone to TNA. Now, you're going to say, what about all the stuff outside? Don't matter. It's not about where he's been. It's about what he's been presented in the company. Then you have Devon Evans. He's been in the business 7 years compared to Leon. That's been 11. Leon started at 9. And Devon is, maybe he's 21. He started when he was 13. A little bit older. He's had matches with Randy Orton. He's been up against Sami Zayn. He has worked with every type of person and has been around any type of person they think would be wise to stick in front of. He's talked with The Undertaker. He's worked with, just had a shot at the IC title with Sami Zayn. He's worked with Randy Orton. He worked with Ethan Page. He's worked with a lot of people. Compared to Leon Slater, who's worked with some people in the indies and some people, and particularly working with the Hardys on TNA, Leon Slater's had more marquee matches with more people than Leon Slater has been. But then Leon's been in the business 11 years compared to 7. And he has more seasoning. Because when you watch the match, legitimately watch it, both of them are the same age, even though Devon is 21 now. He's probably been 21 for several months. Leon only just turned 21 in the last month. So they're both very close in age. Only a few months of this year separating them. But both of them had different experiences. And both of them have a different level of polish. When you look at Leon Slater's polish compared to Devon Evans, it is apparent that Devon Evans is way more. I'll give it like this. Is Devon Evans a better high flyer than Leon Slater? To an extent, yes. But who is a more seasoned veteran between the two? Leon Slater. Leon may not be able to have the same performance in the ring as Devon Evans. He may not. This is how the high flyers are. He's slightly below him. There's no way to lie about that. But who feels more seasoned? Who understands you don't need to run and jump into the ring every single time? Leon felt more seasoned. He did. Devon doesn't look bad, but Leon just feels more polished because of the more years that he's had. Even if he doesn't have matches with really great wrestlers, doesn't mean he doesn't have good fundamentals. And they're both high flyers. They're spot monkeys. In the end, Leon won. But then, and I'm not saying he won because he beat him. He won because it was a draw. Because remember, the 20-minute time limit ended. So that means he retained his title. So he won, generally speaking. But what did we get when Santino Marella came out? He says, everybody wants 5 more minutes. They get 5 more minutes. And that's what they get. And then here's where it's going to piss everybody off. As they were having the match, where it looks like you can finally have an answer. No answer. You get Dark State coming out and whooping both their asses because Dark State got pissed because of what they did when it was on NXT. Again, the safer option. You don't want to make Leon's job here. You don't want to make Devon Evans' job here. Neither one of them. So what did you do? You bring out Dark State to basically whoop both their asses so nobody wins. Even though they went to a 20-minute draw, which made sure that Leon Slater retained his title. And yes, people would have been mad at that, but they could have left it. No, they did not. They wanted to give 5 more minutes, but even then, they just didn't want to take the chance, so they get the Dark State to come in and whoop both their asses. And that is the safer option. Again, second time we get a safer option. I don't agree with this one. This one legitimately pissed me off way more than Kaz and Nick. Honestly. That one, I could understand. I didn't like it, but understand because of the collaboration with NXT, they just didn't want to do it. But you do it twice in the same show. No. This was wrong. It's either the Call Your Shot Gauntlet had this type of safe option, or the X Division would have been the safer option. You decided to do neither. You did them both. And that pissed the shit out of me. Now, I hate both matches, not because of the match quality and who didn't show up or who did show up, but legitimately, it was wrong to have both these matches, which they were good matches. One was great when the other one was good, but now you did the safer option to them both, which is a damn cop-out. And now people are going to get angry. I'm not happy about the second match. I'm not happy about the X Division. I'm actually angry about that because it is a cop-out. They could have just left it as a draw. That wouldn't have been great, but they did such a good match. Everyone was screaming at the top of the lungs. They were loving it. That's how hard Leon and Devon worked in that match. But they chose not to go there. They chose not to do it. And that was a big mistake. Honestly. The next match, which is one everyone was waiting for. The tables match for the TNA and NXT Tag Championships. Let's make this very clear. I'm going to say this right now. The match was good, even though there was one thing I was terrified about that happened, and you probably know what it is. But I want to say this. We knew the Dudley... Look, Devon, Bully, they're not wrestlers anymore. This was their last match. This was it. If I see them back in the ring again, I will be surprised. And then I will feel that it didn't need to happen. Because this should have been, and it is, if I'm right, the last match they will ever have in their lives. Unless somehow they get super well paid, which I don't think they should. Ever wrestle, either one of them wrestle again. They don't need to. But just in case if they did, if, let's say, Bully Ray wrestles again, admittedly, I would be disappointed because I think this was the best time him fully retiring. Along with Devon, they both deserve to retire together because those two, they're best friends for the rest of their lives. They're best friends for the rest of their lives. And I think they should retire together permanently, not just Bully Ray after Devon again because Devon retired. Bully Ray kept going. And it would have been better if Bully Ray just retired after Devon did. But I knew they weren't going to win. But were they going to give off a great performance? Yes, they did. And I think I will have another image in here. This is the image of that ladder where Devon was put right at the base of it with 2 tables there. And Jeff, given the cross, was about to jump. But I knew there was something wrong because Jeff went way too close to the ladder, to the steps of the ladder. And when he came down, he didn't come down directly on top of Devon. It looks like he wanted to avoid landing on Devon's stomach. So he went more back instead of more forward because this is where Devon is. And when he came off the ladder, instead of landing straight on Devon, he decided to land a little bit before Devon, where the second ladder was, the second table, not ladder, second table was. And oh my God. When I saw where he was, oh my God, you can hear him saying it because the way he landed, he didn't land just on the table. His head hit one of the rungs of the ladder. And you can hear Jeff saying, oh my God. And he was checking to see if he was bleeding from the back of his head. I'm worried he may have a concussion because the way he came down hard on the ladder's rung. They wouldn't check them. He seemed to be able to continue doing the match. But fuck, man, that was bad. That was the worst botch of the entire match. And yeah, there was a botch when it came to Devon Evans and Leon Slater, like when they were outside and Devon did that jump outside the ring cutter, and the way he landed with his hip hitting the corner of the ring. Of the ring, and then landed outside. That looked bad. That might have hurt his hip. Hopefully he's okay. But that one, I was scared, and I'm still worried that Jeff may have a concussion from that. If he has no concussion, he's all right. Thank the Great Spirit that he's all right. But when I saw him hit it landed, and I knew he's hurt. He might be hurt. He seemed to get up, great. But in the end, what do we get? Hang on. This is about to click off. I don't want to be disturbed. We get, when the match was near over, Devon was still out near the ramp where the ladder was and the broken table. Because there was already 1 by 1. It was, who was the one who took the first hit? I believe it was Jeff who went for the table first. And then, no, Matt went through the table first. And then Devon went through the table second. This was the last one. After getting his ass handed to him, you see Bully Ray getting up, leaning on the table that they were ready to put him through. They got chairs, both Jeff and Matt. They were ready to hammer him, and then they were going to Jeff was going to probably jump onto the table, but they looked at him. He looked at them. He didn't want to get nailed by no chair, and then they jump on him. So both of them decided to grab him and put him through the table. And that was it. When it came to Bully Ray, he went through the table. They lost. They won. And the thing that got me, which was the thing that I didn't expect. When it was over, they raised their hands. They agreed that the Hardys are the best of all time. They are the true GOATs. They're better than them. They surpassed them. But what I saw, I didn't expect to see. What we saw was rare. I don't think this has ever happened on normal television. Normally, when a wrestler is done, just in case you guys don't know, when a wrestler is end of life, when they literally are saying, okay, we're retiring, or I'm retiring, a woman or man, in the middle of the ring, they remove their boots, they leave them there, and they walk to the back. That's usually how it ends. That's it. That's how it normally works. In this situation, when it came to Devon and Bully Ray, what they did, and this is why I said earlier that if Bully Ray or Devon start wrestling again after this, I will be disappointed. Because not only did both of them take off their boots, they both took their boots off in the middle of the ring, where all the debris of the tables were. They handed them to Matt and Jeff, saying that we're retired, we're handing the torch to you and our boots to prove that you are the greatest of all time. You surpassed us. We're giving you our boots. We are now retired. We give you our boots to show proof of that. And they hug each other. I think Matt might have kissed Bully Ray on the head. I'm not sure. I think I might have missed that. But they hugged each other. And then you see Devon and Bully Ray walk to the back together, putting arms on each other's shoulders, walking to the back. As far as I'm concerned, these two are officially and legitimately retired. They have earned their retirement with the greatest level of respect anyone of their decorated history deserves. I'm telling you right now. They announced in the very beginning of this match, before they went at each other, the Dudleys had won the IWGP Tag Team titles, the ECW Tag Team titles, the WWE/WWF Tag Team titles, the ECW, ECW, WCW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, WWE, and TNA, NWA titles. They actually mentioned the TNA NWA titles because they did win them during the time when NWA was still working with TNA. That's 6 companies, 6 guys that they have worked, won titles from. They have a legacy that will very rarely be beaten. To be honest, I don't think they ever have a legacy that can be beaten. Even if the Hardys continue wrestling for another 10 years, which they can. And let's say they get 27 titles to the 24. Let's say they get 27 or 30 titles. They'll never be Devon and Bully Ray. They'll never be them. These two guys that come from my neck of the woods, from New York City, have now made a legacy across 6 companies. Well, 5, but since NWA was involved with TNA, that kind of covers NWA as well, which makes 6. I love them. I always love them. Not because they're New Yorkers. Well, it kind of makes me feel cool to know that they're New Yorkers like me. But I always will love 3D. I love the Dudleys. They've earned my respect. Doesn't mean they won't piss me off if they say something stupid. No. But they've earned my respect. Last match. The World Championship. Trick Williams and Santana to become TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Let me give it to you like this. Did I believe Trick Williams was going to retain? I'm not going to lie. The way things have been going, even though I'm sure beyond 99.9%, there was let's say 99.99925%, that it was going to be Santana who was going to win. But still, that 1%, I just believed that the way things were here, because of the 2, again, safe options. One safe option, fine. The Call Your Shot Gauntlet, or one safe option, fine, of the X Division. But both, fuck you. That was wrong. Makes me angry. But I'm not saying the matches were bad. Nope. I said it earlier. The X Division match was the best match of the night. The Call Your Shot Gauntlet was a good gauntlet match. But I'm still mad at both of the outcomes because it's 2 outcomes, not 1, that they did this with. It's 2. But I felt that Santana was going to win. But because of those 2, I was worried that maybe TNA would not pull the trigger on Santana because of what we just saw. And I won't lie. As the match was going on, it was a great match. And seeing that Trick was messing with Santana's daughter, it was good. Trick did a great job here. If anybody thinks Trick Williams is not a great pro wrestler, watch this match. See how he worked the match. See how he was working in the ring with Santana. He's not a ring general. There's no lie. Santana led the match. He is a ring general. Trick is not. At least not yet. Trick is not a ring general yet. But he's damn good in the ring and can work with someone to make them look good and himself look good. But Trick, as a heel, is a good heel. He did a good job. And in the end, Trick lost that damn match. And we get Santana winning. And then what do we get? Because I knew there had to be a swerve. First, Nick Nimitz comes out, but then Elijah nails him in the head with a guitar. And then while everyone's watching down the ramp area, not ramp area, the area where you come out from the back, you got Kaz in the ring, who tries something, but doesn't get anywhere because he needs legitimately to hand in the cup, the Call Your Shot Gauntlet Cup. The only way you can do the Call Your Shot Gauntlet shot is with the cup in your hand that you need to hand to the ref. Doesn't happen because he gets his ass nailed by Santana and nothing goes on. So I can say there was shenanigans, but it wasn't a shenanigans that's going to piss you off. And in the end, Santana, who's bloody from the head, his daughter gets into the ring, puts his jacket on, he's hugging her, and the most sweetest thing you can do, because he promised his daughter he was going to win. He gets the title from Carlos Silva. He hugs his daughter, and then I think I got the shot. He kneels in front of her after handing it to her, giving it to her like he promised. I think that was the most sweetest thing he could do because of everything that he's gone through. Let's make it clear. Santana, after leaving TNA, going to AEW, being miserable, becoming a very bad alcoholic, then deciding to straighten his ass out, goes back to TNA, and reaches this point. It's a beautiful story. And culminating with his daughter in the ring, giving her the title, bloodied, and saying, "You want me to straighten my life out? You wanted me not to drink anymore? This is the gift I'm giving you. I straighten my life out. I straighten out who I am. This is for you. I may be carrying it, but I did this for you because I love you." It's a beautiful gift. And now Santana is current champion of TNA. Now, what does this mean? This is where it comes to. At this moment, I don't have a title for this video. Maybe I'll put unknown future. I think that might be the best title for this. I was pissed off, but it's an unknown future. Or just, I was pissed, still a good show, unknown future. Maybe that might be it. I don't know. Either one of them, or all of them, I don't know. But let's make this clear. This is the first collaboration between TNA and NXT that we've ever had. That culminated in Bound for Glory, their signature pay-per-view. I don't know if they're going to keep doing this. This could be the only year they do it. Maybe they do even more next year and next year. I don't know. Only thing I do know is this, and this is what I do know. We have two companies that are collaborating that are part of two corporations. And I know not many people want to hear corporate shit, but I gotta state this. WWE is owned by Silver Lake, which owns Silver Lake, Endeavor, WWE. That's the deal. You don't want to hear it, it don't make a difference. Silver Lake owns Endeavor, which owns WWE. And then you got Anthem owning TNA. Unless TNA is bought by somebody, it will always have to follow the orders of the CEO of Endeavor. Just like the CEO or the shareholders of Silver Lake can still tell people from WWE what the hell to do, even if it means that it will ruin the company. It don't make no difference what anybody says. Anything could be changed. I will say this. At this time, with one man who does own his own company, where he's not booking it right at all, and that's Tony Khan. And you got Silver Lake controlling WWE through Endeavor, where it feels very formulaic. And yes, they had a good show, but they had a good Raw, and they did a little better when it came to No Mercy. No, not No Mercy. That was NXT. Crown Jewel. They actually did a good job on Crown Jewel. I actually liked it. It still feels formulaic. It feels like it's still corporate. It doesn't have that feeling of organic nature anymore. It's very stale. It's very sterile. And you look at TNA. TNA does not feel like it's being controlled by Endeavor. No, not Endeavor. Not being controlled by Anthem. There's a lot of stuff. It's hard to keep it all track. Sorry. When it comes to Anthem, you don't feel it in TNA. You just don't. TNA feels more organic at this time. I don't know how long that'll last. But I will say this. As I've said before, out of the 3 companies that are the biggest ones in America, WWE, AEW, and just under it, TNA. TNA feels like the only one that's giving us some decently good television. It's not about it being perfect and it being shock value or something that blows your mind every day. It's about good wrestling that makes you happy. And that's what you're getting from TNA in this Bound for Glory, even though there are 2 matches. 2 freaking matches that easily feels like it's the safe options. Overall, the show was good. The pay-per-view was good. And you got a good feel-good moment. But this is just me. I hope you enjoyed this Bound for Glory review when it's uploaded. Peace.